Hello, hello, Taurus. Welcome to your January 2019 overview reading. This is good for you if you are a sun, moon, or rising Taurus. And I want to let you know that if you are on my Patreon, the January 11 relationship readings will be going out on the 1st, and that is going to be really intention setting based. So that's good if you are in partnership or not. And I just wanted to give you a heads up on what's to come. So that's a good one if you're like trying to figure out how to prepare yourself relationally this year. Okay, now the first thing coming up for Taurus is sitting on top of the world. So really looking at things from a bird's eye view is going to be beneficial. Zoom out, zoom out, zoom out. People grossly underestimate what they can accomplish within a year, and I think that's where a lot of people are collectively sitting, is just looking at what's up, what is to come, what's approaching, what are the energies that I'm going to be working with, and how can I align those with what I want? And one of the ways that you can do that is by zooming out just a smidge. Just think about things from a little bit broader perspective. Think about it from a mindset of looking at things a little bit farther out, and that's going to be a big asset for you. And then the word of the month is revisit. Take an old idea out of your notebook and give it life. See if you have the skill to execute an idea once beyond your ability. Continue an unfinished project. Whatever you needed to hear or whatever resonated most is what the message that is for you in that card. So I'm not going to speak to that because I feel like whatever you heard is the thing you needed to hear. So revisit whatever that means to you. And the animal card is fire ant. So it looks like you're constructing things this month. I think it's going to be a good month to just start implementing all the building blocks of the things you need to get done and make happen. This actually looks like you might see things start trickling in, but it might be a little bit sparse in January. So don't stress if you find yourself putting in work, but maybe not seeing immediate results. This is not a month that brings immediate results. This is a month that pushes you to be patient, and it pushes you to just continue collecting, gather energy, continue working, and since you're a fixed sign, you don't really have an issue working towards the things that you want, but know it takes time. The central energy for you in January is temperance. Beautiful message, considering it is all about consistency. Extremes, like the pendulum swinging from one extreme to another, isn't going to work. There's not going to be any payoff to that. It seems that this is something you really want to make sustainable. Think about things in terms of consistency and sustainability. That is going to be key for you. And then the crossing energy is the Knight of Rocks. This is equivalent to the Knight of Pentacles in a normal deck. Staying really grounded is how you can do this. I don't think Taurus really has an issue staying put, staying grounded, staying secure. But it seems like this is referring to what you're focusing on and where your attention is at. That needs to be on lock in January. If you're off focusing on 50 other things, then this is going to get you into trouble, because you might find yourself pendulum swinging into overworking and then not working at all, or doing something for 2 weeks straight and then not doing anything at all. And so it looks like it can get hairy if you don't have your focus like nailed down. Always remember your why. If there is a goal you have set, then it needs to be tunnel vision on that very thing. What you have shifting out in January is mindfulness. I'm going to clarify this because this is not a card that's in a traditional deck. It's like you know how some decks have the bonus cards. Okay, so overthinking. This is moving away. I think you were being overly mindful, overly cautious, overly whatever. You were probably putting too much thought into what you were doing rather than taking action. Sometimes thinking about it doesn't actually bring clarity. You just want to get into it. Just start. Just show up. See what happens if you apply yourself and just do the damn thing. Because it's like, yes, mindfulness is a beautiful thing. Taking your time, weighing out the options is great. But if you're using it as a way to escape taking action or avoid that altogether, it's not going to work for you. So this is really reminding you to apply yourself. The oncoming energy is the sun. Lovely, lovely, lovely. So the energy and vitality that maybe you've been missing or craving or needing is returning. That is absolutely something that's on the horizon. I also want to remind you, this is conditional. If you sit on your hands, this will not pan out for you. This takes effort. You have to apply yourself here in order to get that energy and vitality back. I'm getting a huge intuitive hit that some of this might have to do with your physical well-being and your physical body. That is probably going to need a lot of TLC in January. That's just the intuitive hit that I'm getting. So that's another thing worth keeping in mind. This could be something like making sure you're getting movement in every day. It doesn't matter if it's just some stretching or if it's a brisk walk or whatever, but I think that moving, it is just so helpful to get your energetic body flowing. It's good for ideas. It's good for so many things. So just make sure that you are doubling down on paying attention to your body and what your energy levels are, and then making some tweaks along the way. The outward manifestation is the King of Torches. So I think the ideas and the creativity and the ambition is there. It's like the fire is alive and well. That you're not at a lack of there's no lack of having an ability to get things done and make things happen. I think it's just about integrating your new state of being. So it's having more of the balanced perspective. Like if you're one of those people who burns the candle at both ends, find a way to adjust that. If you're someone who overthinks and simply doesn't take action and thinks yourself out of doing things, then you want to counter and challenge that way of being. So it's all about finding the balance and striking that with whatever it is that you have too much or not enough of. So the King of Torches is just reminding you, like, yes, as far as the external, wanting to get things done and make things happen, you're good to go. However, the internal process needs a little bit of acclimation in January. In the subconscious, you have the moon. These have been popping up quite a bit. The sun and the moon, kind of interesting. So the moon is the lack of certainty and the lack of trust in self. I think this is one of those times when you're gonna have to kind of hang out in the nebulous uncertainty. You're just gonna have to hang out in this space a little bit, and that's how you're gonna come back down to earth, is if you are hanging out here for a while. Remember that anytime we're dealing with any circumstance, any situation, you're dealing with being somewhere on the spectrum of whatever duality is present. So the moon is what helps you to get grounded by pushing you to be really ungrounded, right? So it's just through the absence is how you come back down to earth. This is really It's just really space cadet feeling. It might be, if this is the first time you've had a break in a while, it might just be, you know, a little bit vacuous. Not a bad thing. It's just remember that you have to have the contrast, and that's what this is showing. You have to have the moon in order to get the sun. And you have to have the unknowing, the not knowing, to achieve the knowing. So just think about things in those terms, and it might help clear things up for you this month, whatever that might be. The advice for you is the Hanged Man. Consistency. If you've recently made an adjustment or made a move, make sure that you are allowing yourself time to adapt to that new habit, routine, that structure. If you have set some resolutions or intentions for 2019, you have to be consistent and stable and stick with it. Make that commitment to yourself and prioritize it. That seems to be what the Hanged Man is reminding you to do. The external influences for you this month. The World, beautiful. I love this card so much. So things are really coming together, but this is going to be a mixed bag. I'm not going to lie, for a lot of people, because it's speaking to the sitting on top of the world card. But everyone is going to have a little bit different experience with that world energy because it's just so vast. Let me see. To clarify, I got the Seven of Swords, and so there might be so much going on because look at how much action is in this card. You have some deer over here, a horse. You have birds flying around. It's all vast into the distance. You have some bunnies. It's like there's so much action in this card. I'm getting that it might be something that you have to actually say no and walk away from certain things in order to support yourself the best way possible. Sometimes the best self-care is saying no. Sometimes it's not overcommitting and overextending yourself. So if you found that as being a theme for you, the World is just encouraging you to dial that back a bit. And that's going to be what helps you find that balance. Okay. And hopes and fears. Queen of Shells, vulnerability. Maybe this is not wanting to show your weakness. There's also a reference to inner child work popping up. So it might be having compassion for younger parts of yourself that might not fully be on board with the current version of yourself. So the Queen of Shells is like that desire to be nurtured and cared for, and also that fear of vulnerability, of letting your guard down, of being held. Okay, so it's that kind of a mixed bag wherever you are in that healing process. This is going to be something that you're really working through in January. This I'm getting is one of the most potent cards in this reading for you. So just keep your eye on that. And then the outcome of January, Judgment, and that says forgive in the web. So I think you end up feeling really supported by the end of the month if you are committing to yourself. Whatever you have made a promise to or committed to or decided to do, I think that this is a really important month for you to see things through and show up for yourself every day and use that fixed energy that you have for yourself. Like pour some of that love back into your tank and just continue showing up, and that's going to be such a beneficial factor and contributor to your overall energy levels, your healing, the quality and type of people that you attract into your life. So just remember, give yourself some love, make that commitment to yourself, and see things through. And that's where it's really going to start to become evident how important giving to yourself and receiving really is. Okay, now we're going to get into the timeline. If you are new to my channel, hello and welcome. And so we're going to start here. This is the first quarter. It's about a week of January. Second, third, and fourth quarter, so that'll be where you end the month. First quarter, the star, beautiful. Things are working themselves out in the background. This is like the blessings are there. It's just beyond what you're able to see clearly at this time. So the first part of January is just kind of you trusting what you can't see, feel, or touch, and just trusting that your actions have payoff. Second quarter, we have the Mother of Pentacles. So there's another pair of like mother and baby animal. So it's similar to the Queen of Shells. I think this is where all of that vulnerability starts to bubble up, especially if January is kind of a break for you and you've been hustling really hard. You might find that if things are slowing down or becoming consistent, it actually holds space for you to process emotions. So it looks a bit sensitive here. I'm just getting that this is more of an emotional time than anything else. And it might be if you start showing yourself a whole lot of care, that's also when things can really start to show up and get sensitive. Okay, third quarter, we have the Three of Cups. Make sure you're reaching out to friends if you need, if there's any type of support you're looking for, or any type of friendship that you need. It just looks like having fun with people, enjoying yourself, socializing, and then relying on those that you're close to is just going to be such a great tool for you, especially towards the mid end of the month. That's going to be something that I'm just reminding you to not forget about. Don't forget about this, because it's really going to help you, even if it's someone you haven't talked to in a while. And then wrapping up January, we have the Lovers. Beautiful. This has to do with not only your decisions, like your commitment to yourself, like what we were talking about, but also just having that support, having good, solid people around you, having that compassion and kindness that you might be craving or feeling like you've been missing. It looks really sweet, and I'm getting that a lot of this love that's coming up towards the end is all coming from you having compassion and commitment to yourself and for yourself. That's going to be just a game changer this month. Now, as usual, we're doing a 3-card pick, so you're welcome to ask a question, ask for guidance. Just go ahead, tune in to whichever card or cards you'd like to choose. Card number 1, we have 6 of Pentacles. So this is having you focus on give and take. Is there anyone who is draining more than anything? Is there who you don't want to give any more to? Do you find yourself not receiving good things? Do you find yourself feeling really stingy and not wanting to give? It's just about how can you use reciprocity to your benefit? Like, what relationships really stand out either on being really in flow or really not. So it just seems like that's being highlighted to you. And then we have the Lovers again. Okay, so this is great if you're looking for partnership. You know, that can definitely be something that makes an appearance. But the trick to this is that you want to make sure that you're doing all of the prep work ahead of time, that you are being really honest about what it is that you want and need, and you're really conscious in what you're doing for yourself first. It starts there. Someone else isn't gonna give everything to you, so you want to start with the self-love. And even if you're not looking for partnership at all, if that's not of any importance, stay on top of your commitments to yourself and make the decision to choose yourself and to give back to yourself. Okay, now third card, we have the Emperor. So really holding true and holding strong to your convictions and beliefs is going to be important. Like, stay focused on what it is that you want and desire. This is just radiating, like, charge ahead, stay focused. Make sure you're paying attention to what you want and need, and let that carry through in January, and that's going to help you for the coming months. All right, my friends, that is all that I have for you today. I certainly hope you've enjoyed this reading as much as I've enjoyed reading for you. And don't forget, I would absolutely love your support on Patreon. Even if you just want the weekly sign-specific readings, those are available on there as well. And if you want the by sign relationship readings, those are available. If you want to work with me one-on-one, check out the description box. All of the links will be in there. And until next time, have a beautiful January or end of 2018 if you're watching this in December, and I will talk to you later. Bye-bye.